Live, and we on time too.
God damn.
For the
We're
first
on
time
time.
in what, 6 months?
Shit. Something like that. Damn. Can you believe that? Well, Saturday Night Live, America, we're back. So let's get into the good stuff. Mantra time.
Ooh, forgive me. I've been tired. I've been working all week.
Same here, man. Same here. Working like a goddamn shit $10 whore, man. Okay. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life, from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we are now fully commanded to be. It's now being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness and an active force of infinite intelligence within us, being and becoming the great primordial dragon God Son King flames, now whirling and ascending up our spines from our root chakra to our central heart chakra, all the way up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our royal crown chakra, illuminating our first eye, the Lord Amen Drakra, the hidden priestly Grand Master, Magi, Dragon God, Son, King, and Queen, igniting all of the 72 primordial Dragon God, Son, Kings, in our first eye, in all of our legions of 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 armies 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 armies of armies of armies of armies. Now, will all of the forces, all of the elements, all of the essences, all of the powers, dark matter and dark energy within the absolute all, in, into being and becoming all of our will's servants, serving all of our will's objectives, intentions, and desires, crystallizing them all into physical realization, actualization, and form, coming down as the unlimited energy that we all now need to overcome and defeat all of the obstacles in our way, completely dissolving all of our problems, worries, lacks, and fears into complete nothingness. Now, manifesting in our lives as all of the substance that we need in order to rebuild our lives into the proper order and law that we all now will and command and desire our lives to be, as we only now affirm the positive abundance of the absolute all as an eachness of oneness in the absolute all, manifesting into our life as divine love, perfect health, vitality, the abundance of prosperity in the all, enriching our life and the lives of all that's around us while protecting us from all of the evil of human thoughts and human deeds, neutralizing all of our enemies, bringing all out war, judgment, death, and total destruction upon the evil of the soulless robots and the ignorant walking automatons, the walking dead, and their Lord and God, the demiurge, and its archonic forces, enslaving and feeding off of the divine spark, the Kundalini race, and all of the entities and deities aligned against us, enslaving us in grotesque matter to be reborn, live, suffer, and die over and over until now, as it is our time to rise up to conscious unity as they all fall, as all out war, judgment, death, and destruction is upon them all, as we all now will and commanded to be. through the power, force, and might, will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life, from which comes the absolute all. All that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and command it to be. Abracadabra, Ashe.
Ashe.
Crown chakra day libations. Ain, the nothingness, Ashe. Ain Soft, the infinite, Ashe. Ain
Ashe.
Soft, or the infinite light, Ashe.
Ashe.
Adam Catman, Atik Yaman, the ancient of ancient, the most ancient of days, Iri Campen, the big face, the primordial Christ, Ashe.
Ashe.
Absolute emanations, the supernal universe manifesting as our holy, divine, infinite, magical names, Ashe.
Ashe.
The great abyss of Gnosis, the chaos spear, the crown of Zerampin, the small face, the indwelling Christ, the black old kingdom doth, Ashe. Yet Berea, form, creation, and paradise, manifesting in us as a holy, divine, infinite, magical, dark archangels and demons, Ashe. Yetzirah, formation, manifesting as our holy, divine orders of dark angels and demons, Ashe. Ashia, the actual physical world in the making, manifesting as our holy, divine, infinite, magical, earthly kingdom, Ashe. Yeshida, the holy, divine spark, manifesting as our holy, divine, infinite, magical will, Ashe. Heya, the holy, divine, infinite, magical life force, manifesting as our holy, divine, infinite, magical desire, Ashe. Neshama, our holy, divine, infinite, magical, heavenly soul, manifesting as our holy, divine, infinite, magical, heavenly thoughts, Ashe. Ruach, our holy, divine, infinite, magical soul, manifesting as our holy, divine, infinite, magical words spoken through us, Ashe. Nephish, our holy, divine, infinite, earthly soul, manifesting into realization, actualization, and form as we are now will and commanded to be. Ashe. Kether, the supernal crown. Ashe. Hakma, wisdom, the supernal father. Ashe. Bana, understanding and intelligence, the supernal mother. Ashe. Da, the great abyss of gnosis. Ashe. Hased, mercy. Ashe. Babura, judgment. Ashe. Tiferet, beauty. Ashe. Netzik, victory. Ashe. Pod, glory. Ashe. Yasad, foundation. Ashe. Malkut, the kingdom. Ashe. The power, force, might, will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow. The great primordial cosmic flower constantly blooming the absolute all into being. Ashe.
All the gods and goddesses known and unknown, Ashe.
Ashe.
Why sound like you eating some potato chips, man?
These are raisins. This is my candy, my treat, my weekend treat. I like the ones from Trader Joe's. Well, did the government shut down?
We'll know by tomorrow. I mean by Monday.
Monday? Well, yeah, they'll probably try to strike some kind of deal. They usually always do.
Man, I don't even pay attention. I look beyond what they're trying to tell us. It's always something. When they telling us something in the public, you know what I'm saying? Look beyond the surface because they got something else going on.
Oh yeah, well that goes without saying. I mean, you don't even have to, I mean, we know nothing is as it appears. We know that. Can't go by the appearance. Ancestors taught that.
Yeah, and they said October 4th, they're supposed to be sending some type of special signal to national emergency signal and shit.
Oh yeah,
and
they've done that before. They did that when Trump was in office, I believe.
Oh yeah, they did do that last year, huh? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't last year; it was a while back. They sent out, well, it was a text, yeah, that they sent around to everyone.
Well, sure. They said they about to do some special one, and it's supposed to activate something. This is I don't. I pay attention to the conspiracy theory all day, but I don't
Hmm.
take it face first. I see it as a gang of entertainment, a gang of counterproduction. I mean, counterintelligence. They're going to put all of this stuff out here so they can lead you astray, and you know what I'm saying, to try to make you think outside of what's actually going on. Because
Well, usually when they're doing that, that means,
the conspiracy theory community is entertaining. That's it.
yeah, well, usually when they're trying to lead us a certain way, that's because they're trying to get us away from a certain type of energy that we must be connecting onto. And then, and by us connecting into this energy, it puts us, take us to a whole nother level to where they can't deal with us. They can't really handle us at that point because now the invisible side of us is more powerful than the visible side of us. And we fight with the invisible and not the visible.
You know what the spirit told me?
Hmm?
The spirit said we have transcended beyond this lower vibrational frequency that we was on, and nothing
Hmm.
they do at this point can affect us.
Yeah.
No, I'm seriously. I mean, they affect those who are not engaging with this higher vibration. It
Hmm.
affects you. It's
Hmm.
going to affect you. But if you are vibrating higher than you were years ago, then it's not going to affect you because we in a whole nother paradigm.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother shift in consciousness going on to
Yeah.
where shifting. And when they say shift in consciousness, you have to be
Hmm.
mindful that we are actually creating this reality. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We're creating this reality. So if it's a shift in consciousness, it's a shift in reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Hey
saying?
guys, welcome.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I will be uh it would behoove those who are listening to this show and those who listen to this show to go outside of the box of what they're leading you to. Because they're leading you somewhere psychologically all the time. You got to
Hmm.
always be questioning of that. You got to question your mindset, period, because we've all subjected to programming.
Hmm.
So we got to question what the heck. Why am I thinking like this? Why am I keep moving in a certain direction that's obviously not in my best interest, but I keep doing this like a job. Like jobs are not in your best interest.
No, no, well, no, no, they're not. But however, to get out of something, you got to go through it.
Well, I'll say this. Once I say once you are elevated in your thinking to the point where you can't, because really a job is just slavery, and you can't be enslaved if you're knowledgeable, right? If you're knowledgeable, you can't be enslaved. So that's what I'm saying. So, if you continue to be enslaved, it's insecurity too that comes with that because you can make 10 times more than you're making at a job if you take a leap of faith in yourself, and that's what it is.
But you have to have a definiteness, a purpose. You got to have a plan. You got to have a dream. You have to have a blueprint. You have to have a blueprint. Yeah, I mean,
or or you can just go downtown and buy wholesale instead of retail. Simple as fuck, man. I swear. We live in a port city, man. I don't see why people broke. You can go buy anything downtown wholesale and
yeah,
sell it for
well,
retail. Come on, man.
yeah. If you want to go that route, some other people don't have. I mean, using. I've learned how to use the intangibles as tangibles. I mean, I've been in industries, businesses where we generate a lot of income and have no inventory. And we generate
They
income
control us. They literally control us
off
because
of intangibles, just the intangibles.
right.
And when you can do that, I think you have control. I feel I had control.
Well, they control us through our given desires of materialism, superficial desires. They
Well,
control us through that. They literally
yeah,
control. So that's why it's important for you to master yourself, because at the end of the day, everything in moderation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying indulge. People are constantly indulged. We live in LA where it's just abundance indulgence,
for now,
abundant indulgence.
for now, yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like when you live in on those conditions, you can see how people lose certain aspects of themselves, their
We
character
have
lose.
we have so many resources here in California. People, people, resources, materials, everything, knowledge, information. California, there's so much resource here in California with the people that are here, with what we know, to become our own fucking nation, be separate
Oh
from,
yeah, they're proposing that. You know that, right?
yeah.
They're literally proposing. A lot of states are um, entertaining seceding from the union.
Well, the union has failed.
Long
The
time ago.
corporation is broke. It's
Long time ago.
$33 trillion broke in
Right.
debt.
Right.
So
So
it's you're
it'll
right. It's
behoove.
about us reclaiming our nationality and separating ourselves from that shit and, taking back the land.
Well, my thing is, I've been saying this on this show. How long have we been doing this show?
We've been
A
since
year,
2021, October 2021, almost 2 years now.
almost 2 years, right? And I've been saying this, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to tell people, y'all gonna be too late to catch on what we're talking about. And it's really about autonomy. It's really about autonomy.
Yes,
Do you really want to be in control of your life? Well,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to take some initiative into what is in your best interest. What's your best interest? A lot of times we so caught up in this society with its luxuries of infrastructure, right?
Oh yeah,
We step back and we get
yeah,
caught up in that and get lazy, get enabled, and get entitled, and it's like this is what you see among so-called black folks.
yeah.
And
It's like,
that's really who I'm concerned about is us, because at
yes.
the end of the day, we have allowed them to program us against ourselves. Period.
Mm-hmm.
We are vulnerable as a people. We are vulnerable as hell, but it could be reversed. Like for example, this is what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a discussion with a brother, and he talking about the sisters, the matriarch, and he was speaking on the matriarch, and he talking about how the sisters have been overwhelmed by the matriarch. Well, there's a spiritual aspect of that you're missing, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because why? Because the we looking at the whole matriarch, right, from a patriarchal standpoint. This is what I'm saying. Listen, the matriarchs in the ancient time, in the ancient world, they had nothing to really do with the physical world. Men were objective. You can see in Israel, men are objective, women are subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Men deal with probability, women deal with possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they were the priesthood. They were the priesthood of the ancient time. They would see something before it came. Women's intuition comes from that. All of
Mm-hmm.
they're not supposed to be operating from an objective point of view. They can, but that's not their greatest strength.
Yeah, I know.
Their
And
greatest
plus,
strength.
you have the three goddesses. When you have three of them working together like that, then you working with some real energy.
So the brother, He said, "Oh, the matriarch need to step up," and I was like, "Yeah, they do need to step up." But now, how you think they need to step up with their clairvoyant abilities. They need to step up with their ability to see shit before they're using, like a lot of our sisters use it to do minuscule crap like find out if their boyfriend is cheating.
Yeah, or to find the
Like,
right guy.
no, fuck that. We need all these sisters to be using that power to project us in a certain future. Because I learned how to.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew how to project yourself in the future and shit, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
past is present and the future is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The future,
Mm-hmm.
like this, the present, this the future, present, future, present, future. It's right. It's happening simultaneously right now, right?
Yeah, simultaneously.
So, how do you project yourself in the future? The only way you can do that is create a vision of what you want in the future,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Psychologically, create that vision and attach yourself psychologically to that vision to where it already happened. Emotionally attach yourself to that vision like it already happened. And then you're going to step into that in the future. That's how you travel in the future. That's the only way you
Well,
can travel in the future.
me, I went back to the primordial past, to the past, and
Well, that's
reattached
mental.
myself.
That's mental. That's
Oh, okay.
DNA. That's DNA memory.
Oh,
That's the only
okay.
way you can go back to that is because it's in your genetic memory.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But okay, and now and then from there project on.
Right.
But yeah, from there project on as something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched it. I went to go see that movie, The Creator, yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I've been seeing the signs. Oh, yeah. How
Yeah,
was it?
it was not what I expected.
Was it revealing anything, or
Very
what?
revealing. It's revealing how they're basically trying to humanize robots. They're trying to humanize robots. They're trying to. The whole movie was about a war against robots. It's basically the Matrix, right? But
Mm-hmm.
with a sensitive tone to it, right? Where they basically try to make the robots humanize the robots and make us have sympathy for the robots, basically.
Oh,
You feel me?
oh,
That's the
Ro-
whole movie was about that. It was
Ro-
it was I don't want to spoil it for you, but there was a sacrifice of a melanated person for a
mm,
robot
mm,
in the movie.
mm,
It was a symbolic sacrifice for us, one of us, for the
mm-hmm,
robot, right?
mm-hmm,
Which
mm-hmm.
let me know that these technocratic cats, these technocrat, they look at themselves as the new gods, and they're going to create the whole new world with this whole AI technology they're trying to bring forth. The crowd, look with this whole October 2nd or October 4th signal that they're about to send off. This is
Mm-hmm.
all part of their agenda. This whole movie, The Creator, is all
Yeah,
part of an agenda, bro. They're trying to get us to accept their technocratic agenda.
yeah. They're trying to get us to accept this new reality.
Oh, let's go further though. There were cyborgs in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Half human, there was humans with obvious robotic parts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they want
Mm-hmm.
to introduce that, and that was a divide in the whole movie. Whether you're a robot, then are you a fucking because um they made robots so like humans in the future. They advanced the technology on that shit so advanced that you can't tell the difference.
Oh, just like in that movie Power Blade, where they had those replicas, or with these robots that they were hunting down. They looked like humans, but they weren't.
Right. The whole movie was a gang of predictive programming.
He's turning his phone and he's unplugging his TV.
Right, because what they do is they're suggesting what they want to come about by giving you all of the ideas and bombarding you with, but they're doing it like indirect, right? So the way that they're doing the magic works is it's indirect, right? So you don't know that you're giving your energy towards something that, because you're in it, your feelings is in it, your visual, if the visual is there, and your feelings is in it, but you don't know you giving up yourself to it. You are like in a beta state at that moment, right? Where you're vulnerable. You're open to all of these entities that are in that state. That's what they want you to be. They constantly want you in a beta state, in a alpha state. I'm talking about mentally. Alpha state being aware in your mind in a state where you can be aware of the suggested programming and shit. The beta state is just when you're just vulnerable to any suggestions.
You just let the spirits come on in.
Yeah, and that's what the mass majority of Americans are in that beta state constantly. And it's like that's what's celebrated in this society. That's what they're calling freedoms, democracy, freedom. That's what they're talking about. The freedom to be ignorant, the freedom to be programmed. I swear, man, this is the mass. It's like a motherfucking cult.
Yep.
It's like a cult, bro. Like they literally, the mass majority of humanity are Americans. They're a part of a cult of benign neglect, not benign neglect. Like they don't want to know.
Well, then we need there has to be a separation. There has to be a divide where you have two earths.
It already has, yes. What you just saying is already happened already.
Okay.
It's so subtle that it's about to be like a civil war around this bitch in a minute. I'm trying to tell you. It already has been, right? Just look at the divide between women and men, Democrat, Republican. That's an old divide, but the extreme now of those two, right?
Yeah. Where
the left, the extreme left, man, they into some wild, foul ass shit. The extreme right or the right wing, or they are into some wild shit too. But because they present themselves as conservative and they're not going to be like the Democrats. Basically, are trying to say let's not hide this no more. Let's just
let it up.
Prime the people to accept it now. That's what they're saying. The Republicans are just saying, "Oh, y'all motherfuckers going too far. We supposed to be doing this shit behind closed doors."
No, they got the closet door wide open and everything.
Right, y'all leaving the door wide open, letting everybody in this motherfucker and think you're just gonna get people just to accept this shit. And for the most part, what happens is people have not accepted. Just like what they trying to do with this whole COVID plan that they had. They had the plan to bring back the damn COVID restrictions again. But what happened? They knew that the people wasn't going to fall for that crap again. So they had to redo their plan. They was like, oh, hell no, they ain't falling for this shit. And now the truth is coming out. Look, the thing about it is they already proved that the FBI, the CIA paid Facebook to make sure that certain information gets censored. TikTok and Facebook, they offered them money. Not money, but incentives or whatever. Because I don't know if it's money, but it's some incentives to say no, don't allow certain information to come through your channels. They literally did this. They found this out recently in a Senate meeting. You know what I'm saying? This shit is open. It's recently. Look, what's that brother now? I'm about to go keep talking right quick. I'm about to find out this man's name. Watch this.
This is a trip. JFK Jr. flees Democrat plantation and set to run as an independent. He said, "Fuck them."
I mean, the Democrat Party is a sinking ship, bro. Sinking ship. After, especially because they're being exposed through all their corruption. They try to attack Trump, and then what happened was it backfired on them.
Yeah.
It backfired on them. Y'all got exposed. Y'all was already exposed. All the shit that Hillary did, and basically, motherfucking Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, they're a criminal organization in themselves. They can go up on the RICO Act. You can actually pull them up on criminal charges under the RICO. Organized crime. Man. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I heard that if they go to certain country, they're going to get arrested. George Bush, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they take their ass to certain country. They basically they're under international warrant. There's a warrant out for their arrest.
Damn.
Because for war crimes. Right?
Yeah, and I heard is in Obama too.
Obama too, yes. Obama too, yep. Obama too. Right? And I think it's gonna be soon. They're not gonna announce it on national TV because they pay. A lot. It's crazy how people are really not aware of how much how naive we are, how much knowledge or information is being blocked from us.
Yeah.
They are crazy. Like that's why I always, and this is crazy. Why? How do we know this? My damn Facebook is now under some type of restrictions because all I do is share everything that I already know gonna get censored. That's all I share on that shit. I'm like, I already know they gonna censor this shit, huh? You feel me? So I already know. So my shit is on some special type of restriction right now.
You're on double probation restriction.
Huh?
You're on double probation restriction.
They got me on some special shit, nigga. Like, they ain't letting me get nothing out, man.
Shit, man. You gonna turn up you gonna open your computer, there's gonna be a giant eye watching you and shit.
It already is. They already all this shit is y'all can go the thing about it is people think we're just conspiracy theorists too. No. The NSA has been found guilty of spying on Americans, man. Period. A long time ago. They went to prison for this shit.
When your goddamn cell phone is spying on you, not only is it spying on, it knows what you're thinking.
No, look, check this out, though. Check this out. Know how I know they're ushering in some new signals through the technology? Because the technology, we got to understand this technology, right? It ain't about the hardware. It ain't about the hardware, bro. It's about the software. Because whatever they put in this shit, they can put another software in there. Like your shit can be fucked all off, right? But then they say upgrade it, right? They telling you to upgrade your shit all the time, right?
Yeah. And
it's supposed to change the performance and shit and all that and all that shit. And I'm like, no, that just don't change the performance. It changes and open up other shit in your damn computer that you never thought was in that motherfucker. Your phone too. Why do I know this? Because both of my computers is acting different from after 2022. My shit was acting different, bro.
Oh, I know my phone's possessed, man.
My phone, look, let me just go to the phone. The phone, I used to be able to cut my phone off. I cannot cut my phone off now.
Oh, I can't even text you no more. You can text me, but I can't text you.
You got an Obama phone?
No.
Right. That's what you know. What I would suggest y'all stay away from that goddamn Obama phone, man.
No, I got a Metro PC.
No, look, this is why you got to stay away from that Obama phone. It's legal ramifications to it because once you get an Obama phone, they can legally spy on you now. It's a government phone.
Yeah.
They can legally spy on you now. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying like if you got a phone like I got a contract, right? If they violate my privacy, I will sue the motherfucking pants off they motherfucking ass. And I will win.
Who's your carrier?
Sprint. No, not Sprint, but not Sprint. Metro PCS.
Oh, yeah, the same. I got them too.
Right. So,
Isn't it?
what
T-Mobile.
protects your privacy is that it's a contractual relationship, and it's supposed to be done in the private. That's one of the sanctum things in the Constitution is privacy.
Yeah.
That's you feel me?
Yeah, but privacy almost don't exist anymore.
I mean, it don't exist because people are not pushing the issue on the fact that privacy is like paramount.
Yeah.
Like paramount. Like you can push the issue. Look, they recently went in on how what's that group of people who are not part of society, they never joined society.
Amish.
The Amish. They saying how around the COVID going down, their numbers because they just practice the same natural culture that they've been practicing for like thousands of years, right? And they saying that they didn't have an epidemic amongst their community at all. There was no epidemic amongst them at all. No math, none of that. You know, in their community, they are autonomous in that sense. The government cannot infringe upon them like that. I'm like, man, these people are teaching y'all a lesson, and y'all used to clown these people. Y'all used to make it seem like, oh, these was some bucks. I mean, some country folks and that are unsophisticated and shit. No, these people are very sophisticated. Well, guess where they got that science from? Your ancestors, melanated people. That's your science right there. But we moved away from that science because we got caught up in the world so much that we wanted to engage in the global idea of humanity and shit. This globalization idea, which America was an experiment of globalization from the jump.
Well, out of Egypt, I should call my sons. Okay, so we came out of Egypt or whatever to over here to engage in this experiment and learn, and then when it dissolved, we go back to where we came from. But we'll have some knowledge of. We'll be able to think way out of the box.
I think we already there. It's just we're so emotionally attached to what we coming out of that it's hard to make that transition emotionally and psychologically. We're making that transition between severing ourselves from that reality that we was coming out of. This is a whole nother reality, is what I'm saying. So it's adjustment. It's an adjustment. I've been adjusting for 10 years. I've been adjusting to it for over 10 years. So
then we have to learn how to manifest.
Imagine somebody who have been caught up, plugged into this shit for years and never question it. You got a lot of people. People are questioning it, but it's like crazy because you have most people in the matrix, right? But they're not totally in the matrix. They're in the matrix, but they're not totally there because they question certain shit. They're suspicious, but they still engage because they like everybody else engaged. They're so influenced by everybody else being engaged in the matrix. They like, if everybody else in it, they haven't come to the a lot of people have come to the conclusion like myself. I've somewhat totally disengaged from it in the sense of doing the normal thing that everyone is doing. Right, programmed under the programming, right? I've done total opposite of what most do, right? Which is like I said, has given an advantage in the sense of I control myself to an extent where others not. They're not controlling over themselves. They're fine with being influenced by the society like that because they bought into the lie. Oh, we're the greatest society. This is a first world country, right? It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
You go outside, you just don't look like a first world country out there no more.
The fuck no. Right?
It looked like a first world, third world.
y'all can dress this shit up with cosmetics all the freak you want. That's all they do.
And yeah, they're painting lipstick on a pig. They're putting lipstick on a pig. They're putting lipstick in a skirt on, putting the pig in a skirt with lipstick on.
Right.
And with a wig.
But people believe in the motherfucking, they believe in this shit so much that you can present all the truth. Like, for example, this whole issue of the people coming across the border and all that, right? I just found out, bro, that there was treaties that were signed where there was a state called the United States of Mexico, right? That was literally in charge of the land grants that the European nations. See, we don't understand international law, and we don't understand history based in the international law, right? This would totally change your idea of how America operates, right? What America is doing. They've given you this impression that they have the sovereignty over.
Wait. America or the United States?
America and the United States. Because America is nothing more than a political jurisdiction of the British and the Spain, Britain, France. That's what America is, bro.
Okay. Then what was it before them?
What was it before them?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Who was over here before them, or who politically?
What was this place called before them?
There was a lot of different names. You got to go to some of the indigenous peoples. It's a lot of different names that they refer to this area as. Turtle Island, a Mexam. That's another name for this land mass. Or these other two. I mean, a Mexam, northwest of Mexam, southwest of Mexam, a Mexam. That was another name for the land mass. You know what I'm saying?
A Mexam.
A Mexam.
You said Mexam. A Mexam.
A Mexam.
I want to call it by the name that it was called before it was conquered and invaded.
What is that?
I want to go back to recognizing this land for what it was before. So we have to, I guess, in order to shave off the illusion, we have to go back to what it was before, and then transcend it.
Well, I get what you're saying. I think that's good for understanding how to return the image of this land and the legacy of this land back to the original legacy and bring that history out. Why? Because they have totally twisted the legacy and the history of this land so that they can have this somewhat claim of the land. And they know they don't have the land, but they can basically appear to be the sovereigns of the land. And that's what we're giving over, because what happens is when we politically align ourselves with them, we're giving over our heritage by doing that. And this is according to treaties. Treaties. There are treaties that literally say there's treaties that literally say that you can either be a part of the original protections you was under, which is Morocco, or you can give up your allegiance to Morocco and be basically in political limbo, because you really don't have no political protection, right? We were protected under
unless you organize and start your own nation or something.
Well, the thing about it is, if you even do start your own nation, right? You want it to be aligned with the ancient sovereignty that all of these nations today are basically. The reason why it appears that they're not adherent to that ancient rule and a sovereign authority, which was your ancestor, is because we can't. They don't have to because we ain't asserting it. We have to be mature as a people and come back into unity, political unity, and
Mm-hmm.
array. Put ourselves back in government array, right? Meaning
Yeah.
everything we do is similar to how the United States assembled itself into a government, into a national government. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same
Same
thing.
thing.
The same
We have
shit.
to use the same spirit that they use to
Well, they were
achieve the
using the
same.
spirit of our ancestors. That's what's so cold about that. That was the
Well, then
spirit
we
of
have
our
to
ancestors that they were using
we have to
to establish
mm,
their pseudo state. You know what I'm saying? Which is
then
not, it's not
we have to
sovereign.
reestablish. Then we
But
must
they what they
reestablish our own energy.
what the advantage that they have is they are mature enough to have some unity amongst each other because they know that they are basically, because how it's set up is like we are at odds with each other because of their ideas of lack of resources. We're fighting over resources, which is racism. That's what racism is. But racism is the result of the European psychology, right? You got
Yeah,
to go read a
that's
book called the Caveman, the Iceman's Heritage. It's a book called The Iceman's Heritage, right? And the book is
mm-hmm.
basically breaking down the behaviors of the Europeans based on its psychology of scarcity. His whole psychology is based on scarcity, right?
Yeah,
Because he came
yeah, it
out of
is.
scarcity. He came out
Yeah,
of scarcity because the Europeans wasn't introduced to the ability to create abundance,
that's
right?
because
Until
it was
you
born with
see how
a
right
cancer
now
problem.
all European nations are dependent on other nations.
They're all dependent on the melanated nations and their
Yes,
resources.
yes, yes. Why? Because
And here,
they really never had footing on this planet. We can tell how somebody is somewhat of a nomad or never had footing in on this thing because they're not stable. We have a stability for that has been lasting for hundreds of thousands of years,
okay,
right? We have a
yeah,
stability that's been lasting for 100. Look at the pyramids. The pyramids is a perfect example of this shit.
well, all the other monuments and
Right. So many that are still
yeah,
standing.
there's some. They're
They,
under the ocean. They're still standing under the
right. They
ocean.
carbon date a lot of these things, and they don't give you the actual date. They don't give you the actual date. Why? Because it's political. Listen to me. Listen to me. You don't listen to
It
anything
goes
else I
beyond
ever say.
6,000 years.
If you don't listen to anything else I ever say, listen to what I'm saying. Everything with the European is politically motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Science is
Mm-hmm.
politics. War is politics.
Mm-hmm.
Agriculture is politics.
It's
Everything with the
religion.
European. Why? Because they have to engage the rest of the world through their ability to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Their ability to manipulate and bring forth resources because they, like I said, the psychology of scarcity is their psychology. They don't know abundantness. They don't. It's not a part of their. It's not a part of their psychology.
So what
Abundance.
they do, they go to conquer all these other lands and take their resources and bring them back and build themselves up.
Right. Right. You see, what is the point? Like, and take that back. They don't build themselves up because what's the when you think about the American military imperialist agenda, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
having bases and damn near we're extended beyond our resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
The American this is why it's a shutdown coming because what they call that when you extend it beyond your resources. And this is
Uh,
what America continues to do. How are we about to have a shutout because of economic problems But
Yeah, but guess what America has
how
as
are we having problems with because of economic problems? But they're constantly sending money to Ukraine. They sent several hundred billion to Ukraine right now.
mm-hmm.
But
Well, they
we
get
have a shutdown.
they get like $4 or $5
This
trillion
government shutdown
a
next
year
week.
in taxes. Yeah, but guess what they have as collateral?
What?
Us,
A
our black ass.
strategic military spot for them to have some type of
The
proxy.
people are but that $32 trillion, the collateral they have for that is our asses.
Say that again.
We are collateral for that debt, that $33
Oh yeah,
trillion dollars.
it's called co-suretized. All of this is why they have to compound. Every election now is not about selecting. Of course, we already know that they're selecting. It's not elected, right? But the point of every election is to count numbers, not to count numbers for the next person. And they already know it's de facto. This is what I'm saying. They already know that the system is done. It's de facto. They personally created the de facto system that we're engaging with today. In the
Yeah, but
1930, well, you can go to before the 1930s, what they call it, the 1871 Act or something like that, or it's basically when they're militarily, because of bankruptcy, they put us under
they
permanent.
went bankrupt
They
in
put us under permanent.
1900 and something,
Yeah, they put us
and
under permanent emergency. When you're on emergency, the Constitution is suspended anyway, but it's a permanent emergency. Right? And
well,
every
they're going
president
to do
comes
that with
in.
FEMA.
Every president comes in and signs back into the emergency again. We're in a constant perpetual emergency because of the bankruptcy, because it's insolvent
Yeah, but if
like
we're collateral for that debt, if we are collateral for that debt, then that means they can do what the fuck they want with us.
no, but we're actually not collateral for the debt. Well, those who are not aware of their status and where they
Mm-hmm.
stand, and knowing how to speak an intelligible tone to be deemed as mature and to be
Yeah,
deemed as not a minority. Because mind
yeah.
you, minority does not mean
You're a minor.
that
You're a
numbers has
minor.
nothing to do with numbers. Minority has nothing to do with numbers. Minority
Yeah, I mean,
means you're not mature enough to handle your own affairs. Like I
yeah,
said,
you're a
let me go
minor.
back to this.
Yeah, they call you a minor.
Voting today in this particular system that we live in has nothing to do with the political apparatus and how it's supposed to be political legitimacy of bringing representation through voting, right?
Or
No,
electing
that's not what
someone
it's
into
about. That's
office.
been passed. What the whole voting thing is to count numbers of how many people are going to be responsible for the national debt.
Oh, okay.
That's what they
So if you're
count.
participating in this shit, then you're collateral.
Well, if you have a birth certificate, social security card, you're collateral. But like I said, if you understand your status, those birth certificate and social security cards have no weight on your political or legal interests. It's not, and it's a violation of your human rights.
Yeah.
Period. It's a violation of your human rights. The birth certificate and social
Mm-hmm.
security card is a violation of your human rights.
Mm-hmm. Because we're
Because,
supposed to be under natural law,
right.
universal law, natural law, freedom.
Well, you can even go to the next level when you're supposed to be under your autonomous laws, right? And this is the
Mm-hmm.
problem. We don't understand how far that goes. Actually creating your own state government. right? To where the way you counter them now is to write legislation, right? Because that's all they do. This is all they do to get you in the trick bag. They write legislation out, and then they basically enforce it through their constitutional government, right? Right, and this is what happened, right? What's the first issue of law? What's the first issue in law?
I don't know.
Jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction?
Yes.
Okay.
Why? Right. Because what laws apply? This is what's handled in jurisdiction. What laws apply? You don't know what laws apply unless you know the jurisdiction. There's literally a procedure of going into a court is that they have to establish persona jurisdiction. Personam jurisdiction, meaning jurisdiction over the person. Meaning the judge has to establish, or the court has to establish that they have the right to even adjudicate upon that sub or whoever is in the court.
Yeah.
That human being in the court. Living, breathing human being. Right?
But
so how do they establish it? How do they establish jurisdiction? They establish jurisdiction because you haven't rebutted the perceptions that they have about who you are, where you stand politically, where you stand legally, how you conduct yourself commercially is the biggest part of it, because you're dealing with a corporation. The United States of America is nothing more than a corporation. So you have to understand contract law. You have to understand contract law. When you're dealing with them, you're dealing with them based on a contractual relationship that you have with the state. Period.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So my thing is, this is what I'm saying. You're not breaking a law when they say you broke the law or whatever. No, you're in breach of contract.
In breach of contract.
Because you've agreed by engaging birth certificate, social security card. They literally call it events revenue. Look up that word, events revenue. Events revenue basically is you engaging in the system, the jurisdiction, so-called jurisdiction, and this is evidence to them to assume jurisdiction over you because you got a birth certificate, you got a social security card. You're coming in my court. That's one of their arguments.
If you're born and you don't, if you're born under a veil and you don't have a birth certificate or social security card or a social security number, then they're going to consider you won't they consider you as an alien or something?
Well, like we just said in the beginning, the Amish don't have birth certificate and social security cards.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't have none of that.
You're right about that.
All their births are recorded amongst their community. This is what I mean by autonomy. We have to have autonomy, but in order for us to have autonomy, we have to understand who we are in opposed to who they're telling us or who they're presuming who we are.
So in other words, we supposed to be doing the same thing the goddamn Amish are doing.
Right. I've been saying this for years.
Talking about them while we've been making fun of them. We're really the ass.
Look, people are so hung up on running water, all this stuff. I'm saying I'm saying we could have this, but we have to establish our own infrastructure. We have to establish our own infrastructure. And first, we have to establish our autonomy. That's a process in itself. It don't have to take a long time period of time. The hardest part of establishing our government is knucklehead ass people who are easy to be led in the wrong direction.
And since they're operating on our land, since they operating on our land with the resources out of the land, all these companies or factories or whatever.
Taxes. We the sovereigns on the land. They owe us taxes. We're the sovereign that they were referring to in those treaties. The sovereigns that allow them to, that's our birthright. The sovereign that had the sovereign that had the power to negotiate those treaties with the European nation. That's our birthrights. That sovereignty, that sovereign power is our birthright. We can yield that power. We can literally yield that power. Think about this. We can yield the power. But we can't yield the problem is there's a lot of Moors who recognize that there's a lot of power, but all of them trying to yield it for themselves as an individual. And it doesn't work that way.
No, it don't work that way.
We have to come into political legitimacy, which means political unity. Yeah. Political unity. Meaning we don't have to agree on everything, but I think it'll behoove us as a nation to agree on how we're going to operate as a nation.
Yeah.
It behooves us to come up with that agreement, right? So this is all we're saying. Every other nation, this is what I keep telling so-called black folks, right? So-called black folks, why does everybody here have a goddamn nationality? A name of a nation that's associated with a landmass. We overlook that as if we don't. No, motherfucker, we have, of course, because we are global people, right?
Yes.
That notion of proclaiming nationality will take us to a whole nother level. Why? We will find out that all these nations were erected on fallen nations that came before it. They were erected on fallen nations that came before them. That was the progenitor of the social dynamics that they inherited. The Europeans inherited something that they had no idea of. The science of politics, the science of agriculture, the science of
it fell out the sky and landed on their face.
They adopted that because our ancestors were giving people. We gave them all the science. We are giving people. We're still giving to this day to a fault. If you ask me, when you think like a capitalist, but we're under capitalism, so I'm thinking like, well, we give away our shit to a fault. Right?
We giving away until we're completely ass out, butt naked.
We are, and it's like this is what I'm saying. How you said, oh, they're on our land. We're checking on resources. The only reason we can't call them out on it is because we can't. Me as an individual can't do it. You as an individual can't do it. It has to be the government. The only thing. And what does the government mean? What does the government when we achieve government? When we achieve a central government that speaks for our affairs as more, and all of these violations that the United States has been doing against us, they will have to pay for that shit. Literally, right? They will literally have to pay. That will be literally a violation of international law.
But who's gonna police the shit though?
We are, man. You know how many of us is here? 40 million of us here. What do you mean who's gonna police it? We just have to organize ourselves. People keep saying that as an individual. Why? Because we're so amalgamated into their society. We're under the illusion of inclusion of their society that we're like, who's going to do it for us? Like, what do you mean? It's 40 million of us here. It's 40 million of us here. You think
you're so right about that? 40 million, that's a lot of resources.
Let me say something. One brother said, "Okay, well, where's the army going to come from?" I'm like, wait a minute. So you Negroes will go fight for this goddamn European for some corrupt ass bullshit. But you ain't gonna fight for your own best interest? Are you telling me? Because everybody said the same thing. Where is it gonna come from? Where is this gonna come from? Where is this gonna come from? Well,
that's natural.
You thinking just like the ones who are in this society entitled that somebody gonna do it for me. No, that's the wrong thinking, motherfucker. You have to have some pride in. Noble Drew Ali said have some race pride. Right?
Yeah.
Have some goddamn race pride. Every other nationality around here is fucking us up based on their race pride.
Yeah, they are.
And all we got is race hate.
Yeah, we do.
And we losing. Yeah. And we losing as a result.
Yeah.
What the hell? Where are we winning at? They try to spill this statistic that there are overwhelming amount of so-called black millionaires and shit now. And that's progression? That's progression? No, what would be progression is consolidating that wealth, right? In the interest of a whole group. We don't look at ourselves as a group, as a nation. We don't.
Yeah, I know.
We have to look at ourselves as a nation if we're going to get ourselves out of this bullshit. Because the more we don't look at ourselves as a nation, the more we're going to like, oh, where this coming from? Where we going to handle this at?
Yep.
Issues amongst ourselves. We got issues. Who going to handle the issues? The United States government. You idiots.
Hell no. We got to do the same thing that the Amish is doing. They don't rely on no outside interference to come in and show them how to conduct their affairs. They take it upon themselves.
As they shouldn't. But the thing about the breakdown in our community is that we don't look at ourselves as a nation. We are split amongst this amalgamated group that a lot of us are integrated, and the affairs of this falling bullshit ass nation, we're attached to it. We're attached ourselves mostly to it. We're attached we're legion ourselves with it. And my thing is, how fickle our people is, they're gonna jump ship eventually, right? But I don't want none of y'all fickle ass motherfuckers over here. I really don't.
Well, we're gonna form our nation called Melanation, the Melanation.
My thing is, listen, brother, we don't even understand how much power we have. You literally can do that. See, you just, I'm just mirroring. No, you can literally do that. It's not a bullshit. I have every breakdown of how to literally create your own state government.
Okay.
So this is not no stuff that we're just saying, because what you're going to do is attach it to ancient law. Whatever you're doing as a state, you're going to attach it to the ancient law, what they call jurisprudence, which they call you're going to attach whatever your state government. So what am I saying? When you create your constitution, when you draft your constitution for your state, you're going to incorporate all of this knowledge of the ancient world and modernize it to this modern world, right? Incorporate it, because like I said, all that ancient okay, so how listen, if y'all out there skeptical of what I'm saying, there's a word called stare decision, right? Precedence of law. I know y'all heard of precedent of law. That's been on TV, so I know y'all heard that before. Precedence of law, and it's another res judicata. All of these terms refer to ancient law, and guess what? This system is following ancient law too.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court judges who have the final say on what is legal and what is not legal, what do? They are represented. The whole basis of is the basis of the ancient is like an ancient elder group. The judges, the Supreme Court judges, not these magistrates.
They're high priests. They're high priests.
Listen. They are high priests aware of the ancient science of the ancient world, bro. They are very aware. This is res judicata. Listen to me again. Let's look up these words. Res judicata, stare decision, precedence of law. This is all the Supreme Court is going by. Whenever they make a decision, they're going by the ancient law of the ancient world.
Okay.
Right? Whenever they have a dispute on how should we make a decision on this case, they go back to the ancient world. And guess who the fuck they going back to when they go back to the ancient world?
Cool.
Your ancestors, melanated people out here, they're determining how they're going to run their goddamn society based on your ancestors' science. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The melanation.
Res judicata, precedence of law, stare decisions. These are all the basis of every system on the planet, bro. Not just America.
Yeah.
They're looking at your ancestors. We the only ones not looking at what our ancestors left for us to as a guidance.
And they're
Every
looking at us
other nation on this goddamn planet is looking at your ancestors. You the only one not.
They're looking at us like we crazy.
Like, what the fuck? Your ancestors gave you all the answers. That's why they ain't got no respect for us.
Yeah, but
they're like,
the ancestors gave us all the answers, but it's been hidden from us, though.
Look, all of these brothers that come up to me and talk about white supremacy and what the European has done to us and all that stuff, I'm like, man, you still on that crap? Like, I graduated from that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I graduated from that shit 10 years ago. It ain't about no goddamn racism. It's about nationality, bro. It's about they are leading you astray through you not recognizing your ancestors and claiming your power. Why do we claim our? Why? What's the main reason why we saying we Moors, man? Why? Why we Moors? Why? Why do you think?
We're melanated.
Because there's that's one of the main. That's one of the main. We're melanated, and it's an indicator of we came from that progenitor, that progeny. We came from that progeny, right?
Yeah.
Know what's the greatest reason why? Because we was ruling the whole fucking planet under that title.
Okay.
And it says it in the goddamn treaties. Literally. It says the Moors have the right to with their interaction with the other European nations. Now y'all wanted to the European nations, and the European nations got custodialship powers over this global hold over the world. This is why they're able to do the fucking dumb shit that they're doing.
Yeah,
they were given custodialship. How do we enhance them from their custodialship? Just what I just said. We got to come into political unity. We have to come into political. We have to come with political legitimacy through political unity, and agree on our national agenda and establish a government that's going to reassert those treaty stipulations. They're still under the treaty. You know how people say, "Oh, those treaties don't apply no more." See, I know when somebody says that, when somebody says the treaties don't apply no more, I know you ain't studying. You're not studying. You don't know what. First of all, this level of study. What's the name of this study? What's the name of this thought process? What's the name of that? Because I don't even think a lot of people even know the name of this professional way of thinking.
You got a good point there. What do you call it?
Sir Juris. Look it up. Sir Juris.
A Sir Juris.
Sir Juris. Sir Juris. Sir Juris is SUIJURIS. Sir Juris. Now Sir Juris. Right? But that concept of Sir Juris, right, is one versed in international affairs in the ancient world, in the ancient law. They're versed in international law and ancient law, right? These are the ones that are advisors to presidents, advisors to, because they know the international law from the ancient world to today, right? They know all these different relationships that are still apply. Still, you can't just break these agreements. Why? Because people say, oh, they can just break those agreements, right? No, spiritual ramifications to this shit. Not just, oh, they can just break it and they know that if they break this shit that they can be cursed. You feel me? This is not just they're under bondage, man. You understand me? Through the contracts. I mean through the treaties. They're under bondage through the treaties. You understand that? I'm gonna come. See, I'm gonna have to see. I keep talking about the treaties. Next show, I'm gonna just bring some treaties to let y'all know. See, just so I can read our power that we actually have. Nobody's familiar with this shit. I've been reading these treaties, man, and been blowing my damn mind. Not only treaties, but you got to read conventions, right? You know what I'm saying? Conventions like the treaty. I mean the convention, the Madrid. I mean not Madrid. Was it Madrid? The Convention of Madrid. The Madrid Convention or the Convention of Madrid. Madrid. You can pronounce it Madrid. Okay.
Madrid. Yeah, place in Spain. Yeah.
Right. So there was a convention that was, and it laid down some of the international protocol on this extraterritorial relationship between nations, right? That's like the foundation. Then you can go into because these conventions are the ones that once these nations go to these conventions, they ratify it, it become international law. These conventions, right? Like the one, the Convention for Council Relationships. All the nations ratified it. They come on the international online with the international protocol of this. Now become international law. Right? We don't understand the power of this, man. Everything else that people are quoting, that shit is inferior. International law is superior law.
Yeah.
Because international law is based in ancient world political science.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, if you put it that way, then fuck the other shit.
Listen, read those treaties. 1736 treaty between Morocco and Great Britain. The 1856 treaty. I'm telling y'all this so you can go Google this shit. They got a PDF for this shit. 1856 treaty, general treaty between Morocco and Great Britain. Go read those treaties. The French Protectorate of Morocco. Go read those conventions. The French Protectorate of Morocco gives so much insight. So this is why we're referring to ourselves as North, not only because of the bloodline is a consanguinity, but this bloodline, this consanguinity, has so much political power globally.
Now you had Arabs that were Moors too, though, right?
Well, Arab is a political term. These people were Moors. They just attached the word Arabs to these people. That's a political term.
Okay, are they talking about black Arabs or white Arabs?
Once again, when you're talking connotatively. I'm talking when law you have to be specific. You're speaking connotatively. Black and white, they don't exist. It's a construct. So
melanated Arabs and non-melanated Arabs.
There are melanated Arabs and non-melanated Arabs, yes.
Okay. Non-melanated Arabs
there are melanated Moors and there are non-melanated Moors. But most of the non-melanated Moors, they're politically Moors. They're not bloodline Moors. Meaning they attach themselves to be under the subject of Morocco. So they got the title, the political designation of a Moorish national or Moorish You know what I'm saying? They're not bloodline
They're
Moors.
not part of the bloodline.
Some of them could be bloodline Moors because you know that a lot of them, for example, in Spain, Sicilians basically have Moorish blood all in their
Well, that's Italy, the Sicilians.
exactly. So this is what I'm saying. With a lot of the pale skinned ones have Moorish blood. Is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because we
Yeah,
went into Spain, fucking all the Spanish women, man.
yeah, all the way up into we went all the way up into Ireland.
Right, we were fucking all the Spanish women, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, still there. Ain't nothing, damn thing changed because those Spanish women got some bootay.
Oh yeah, man. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they Moors too. They Moors too. So it ain't like a lot of sisters be like, oh, you dating your own people. No, they are people too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There are people.
They're just a different soup
That don't
of
work.
people.
That don't work, sisters. That shit don't work.
Yeah. They're just a different soup. Yeah.
They are literally melanated people. They just got a different tone of melanin. They're melanated.
They're a different style of soup.
Right. So all of the like Hondurans, Colombians, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Salvadorians,
In the Bahamas.
all of them, all of these people that I'm not mentioning are actual Moors. They're Moors.
All of that Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, all up in in that peninsula in Mexico and South America.
Right.
I mean, at one time, people from Africa came over here into the Americas and built the pyramids and stuff, and set up governments, set up civilizations over here.
That right there is European worldview.
It is.
Yes, because we were already over here. We were traveling back and forth for millennia, and that's the way they want to. That's the one they want to present it. The way you just said it, the way they want to present it, so they can. It appears like, oh, these are two separate people. No, these are like our cousins that we visited regularly, right? Wow, how do we know this? How do we know this? Because there was back and forth import export agricultural exchange.
Then when you put it that way, then you don't. Then you can't really necessarily say Africa.
The word Africa is a political term too, and you gotta.
Okay.
The word Africa basically.
You
say the word Africa is literally a Roman province.
Okay, Alcabulon. Okay, the continent of Alcabulon.
Alcubulon was conquered, and then they named it Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even when those are two different vibrations too. Those are two different vibrations. People need to start referring to it. People need to start referring to it more as a Cubalon or Ethiopia more than they refer to it as Africa. Why? Because you're changing the frequency of vibration of how that is being presented to you and your energy and your because exactly when a lot of they refer to this as America, that's a vibration that they're promoting. That's a vibration.
Yeah, it was something else before.
It's a cantation.
Yeah, it was something else before that.
Right. So I would suggest that we can go into some of the ancient tongues. Some people will say like it was called Al-Marak or something like that, or it was called Al-America with the Al-Miracle, right? and that's a corruption of America. Now, the corruption of me, well, that word is a corruption.
Okay,
America,
but the
that
point,
word.
but okay, let me finish the point I was trying to make earlier, though. Okay, so since when you said that, okay, we were already here
Okay.
in this land, on this land mass,
Well, I
the
didn't say
north.
that. It's evidence. The
Okay,
evidence proves.
okay, okay. Then if we were already here on this
Mhm.
landmass, north,
Right.
central, and south, while our cousins were in Alkabulon or Ethiopia,
Mhm.
then who's to say Ethiopia or Alkabulon is the original place, land that we came from
That's
when we were
another.
all.
That's another example of that reverse worldview. I think everything is upside down as it pertains to our worldview and the Europeans' worldview. Everything is upside down. This
Mhm.
was the ancient world over here. This was the ancient world over here, and we got evidence. We got evidence to prove this because the pyramids over here are older than the pyramids over there.
Mm, mm,
Right. So, and also the science, right? That
mhm.
because it started from mound building. Now, like a lot of people want to say, "Oh, what have you heard the pyramids were built for?" I'm talking about over there on the other side of the Atlantic. What have they? What have you said they have? What have you heard them say that the pyramids were built for?
Oh, they tried to say it were built for tombs.
It's a tomb, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Over there
What?
on that side of the world, that is what is known as to be, right? On this
Hmm.
side, we already know the bigger picture of what is known to be, right? It's energy. It's basically these things are placed on energy sites,
Hmm.
right? And an energy site is just nothing more than like the planet's chakra system. It is, you know what I'm
So in
saying?
other words,
It's
it
a vent.
was
It's a
free
vent for the
energy.
chakra. It's a
It was
vent for
free
the chakra
energy.
system of the system. It's a vent for the chakra
So
system
in
of the
other
planet.
words,
So they will
and
build.
also
Go ahead,
it
because I
was
can't hear you guys.
also
You're talking to me while I'm talking, so I can't hear
yeah.
what you're saying.
Okay, so in other, it was an apparatus for free energy.
Yeah, that, but also was to assist in bidding that energy because it will basically not only bend the energy, but it's also agricultural reasons for the energy to flow in a certain rate and the electric magnetic um, dynamics of an area. They would want to. They would try to. That was. They. It was so many. It was multiple purposes for these things, but the main purpose was to balance the energy out of the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, well, and at the same token, I think it has something to do with the fact that when evolution first began, we it began from it was descending from a higher from the heavenlies down here, and as it descended, the dimensions and frequencies changed, and I think that's why they had to build these monuments and these computers, these giant computers, are these giant machines called pyramids to
Right. They're
keep
like
things balanced
right, right. Because it's not
as
just pyramids. It's not just pyramids that are built on these energy sites. They even
Mhm.
put monuments there. They put like Stonehenge was built on these on one of those energy sites.
Yeah, and are these things machines? Were
It
these
is a
things
machine.
machines?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a technology. Yeah, it's a technology. Yeah.
mechanisms that affect our technology because we're living technology. We're
Right,
no
right,
different
right.
than
They're
artificial
talking about the
intelligence.
subtle energies of the universe being harnessed, right?
Hmm.
the buildings. They even went in. There's a video on my YouTube page and shit that talks about how these buildings that look like churches
Mm-hmm.
actually places for harnessing these subtle energies, right? The
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, the cathedral and how they're set up is set up to harness energy. It's set up to make sure energy is generated and flows in a certain way, right? You can see how they set up.
Yeah.
This is literally a technology that it's literally a technology.
So when people go into them, people with chakras, the
Yes,
first eye, all
right.
these other glands, okay, which represents a certain type of biotechnology.
Yes,
It weds itself with these temples or these monuments, and it enhances. I think they both work together, and it does something for the entire planet. Not only just for the entire planet, but for the entire solar system.
well, the thing about it, these subtle energies, we think it doesn't affect us, but it's the most effective to
Oh,
our to
oh
us,
yeah, they
right? The
affect.
energies that are abundant, I mean, that are not so subtle, that are mostly artificial energy, right?
Yeah,
Those energies are affecting us negatively. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
They call
yeah.
it
But,
cancer. They talked about
but
how when they brung these new signals into existence, where they brung in the infrastructure where they were able to generate energy and bring it to your household. This basically caused the whole cancer thing, because all that artificial energy is giving out radiation that's
it's
causing cancer.
overstimulating the cells and cause them to degenerate.
And the thing about it is, the free energy technology is old. We can pull energy right out the air, bro. But they still
Yeah,
insist. They still insist in them barbarian way of just harnessing
using
energy.
fuel.
It's
You have to
barbarian,
use. Yeah, you have to use some type of fuel source to generate the
right?
energy
Right.
that you
And the thing
need to.
about it is, that's why I'm saying it's barbaric. It's like, once you understand the ancient, because the ancient world had access to this free energy technology. The ancient world had, so it's like we trying to make it seem like we're advanced today, but this grid is about to go offline in a minute because it's the infrastructure. They already know they can only, their science is so
Hmm.
limited. Their science is so limited that their society is limited. This is why they already knew it was going to be a limited time to this society. That they're
Yeah.
going to have a limited time to, the technology is limited. It's flawed.
Hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
It's linear and it's not
Circular.
circular.
Yes, you're right.
So it's gonna fall off the cliff. Where it need to turn, it's gonna keep going.
Right.
But we turn and we go in a hole somewhere else, and it's gone that way.
Right.
Going bye
Well,
bye.
get your last words in, so I got to cut a show, man. We get to my other show.
Yeah. Well, uh, the moon magic. I'm always going to talk about that. Uh, that frequency, that energy is off the chain. You know, I see the way the energy moves, it moves like in waves. You know, you get a big giant wave that comes in and it does its destruction and then it recedes. But when it's receding, it gives you the illusion that, oh, things went the other way. But no, the waves, that energy is receding back into the ocean from which it came from, because now it's going into the next wave that's coming.
Right.
So right now, all the water is receding out of the bay. There's
Mm.
no water in the bay. You know what that
Right.
means, right? Something big
A
is
drought.
coming. No, when the water recedes out of the bay, that means a tsunami's coming.
Oh yeah. because the
Yeah.
water is being concentrated in a certain area.
Yeah, it's
Remember
being
that
pulled
happened
in.
in the Gulf of Mexico? Remember that happened in the Gulf of Mexico? What, last
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
people was literally walking in the damn Gulf of Mexico and shit. They was
They,
walking in there. They were walking the
they
deep
thought
end
it was gonna
where it was a lot of water at. They was literally walking in the deep end where if it would have been water there, your ass would have been like miles under fucking water and shit.
Yeah, this is something that happened in Chile a long time ago, right after a major earthquake. All the water receded out of the bay because it was being pulled into an oncoming tsunami.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how the energy works in waves. You get a wave in and then it recedes. And when it's receding, it looks like, things went the other way. No, that's just the energy going receding back into its source or from which it came, so it can form an even greater wave.
Mm.
Uh-huh. And through this moon magic, I'm creating that process over and over every month. But the energy is increasing.
Well,
The
shit.
energy
Not
increases
only for the
every month.
moon, not only for the moon, for every energetic entity, every energetic being is the vibration is heightening to a point where, like I said, reality has shifted. Density shifting happened, right? Going back to what
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, my theory on how the Pangea didn't happen in over thousands or millions of years. That shit happened instantaneously in this hyperdimensional reality that we're entering. We go into these hyperdimensional realities every so often in the procession of this cosmos and this whole cycle and shit. We go into a hyper.
And you know
We
what
go
they're
into a
calling it now.
hyperdimensional state to where we go into a hyperdimensional state to where now that tension between reality, mind over matter becomes more intensified now. That
Yeah.
because that now the density is shifting now because our minds are shifting. Remember, I went back
Yeah.
to we're shifting reality because our minds is shifting.
Yeah, we're coming out of that matter, energy, spirit,
Yes.
and yeah, and it's going to become spirit, energy, matter.
So all of that ideas that we had prior to this new change, the transition, they don't
Hmm.
apply anymore. You have to change
Hmm.
your mind now.
Yeah,
Literally.
and I'm witnessing that Mandela effect, that where you're experiencing two different realities at the same time within this reality.
Well, the Mandela effect is an artificial interference with the frequency and the signal. It's artificial. It's not real. It's something that
Oh,
they
okay.
inserted into the psychology so that they can. Just look at it like this, because most people are acting as if they don't have this much control to change those things. They can literally change those things, and I've seen the one where he went in one room because he created a resonant frequency, right? There's a video
Hmm.
of the dude who was opening up portals.
Hmm.
Well, he was opening up portals and he created a resonant frequency. And then what happened was he went in one room and the he was I think it was Bernstein Bears. It said Bernstein Bears in one room, and then he went in the next room and it said something else. So
Hmm.
yes, these shift in these frequencies is happening, but it's mostly happening in our essence, in our being. It's not like
Hmm.
literal. When you
Yeah.
understand the nature of reality, when you understand
Yeah.
the nature of reality, it makes more sense because there is no physical reality. Physical reality is the frequency that's being emitted from a higher source.
Hmm.
So once you
Yeah.
recognize that, go look at the split particle experiments. The split
Hmm.
particle experiments that give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. Because what happened was
Yeah.
in the split particle experiments, and then mind you, multiple scientists did this experiment, and they got different results. Why? Because the molecules were reacting to the conscious person doing the person doing the experiment. They were reacting to the consciousness of the person doing the experiment.
Yeah, when they're being observed, they act different when they're
Yes.
observed than when they're not being observed.
Right. Right.
They change. It changes everything.
Yes, it does. But I would beg to differ that if you're affecting the change by you engaging in your resonant frequency, our consciousness is a resonant frequency, right? Our consciousness is a resonant frequency. So this is how the mind. It's not like how reality dictates that. No, our consciousness dictates it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's an inferior. It's inferior. It's subordinate basically. This is where you get the concept about mind over matter and all that. But you have to. The thing about mind over matter, it's not something that just you can actually just do. You have to practice it. You have to control your mind first.
But you have to understand the 7 hermetic principles in order to
Yeah,
make that work. Right?
Basically, if you understand those 7 hermetic principles, you can implement it into your reality. It's your reality now. Because other than that, you was oblivious to it, so you didn't implement it into your thought process.
Yeah.
I gotta go. So we'll
man. It was good. It was a
See y'all next weekend. Go look at this show. We said a lot of good shit.
Yes, definitely. All right. Thank you.
Chaos, peace, chaos. Out.
Out.